Thank you. Hi, guys. Can you hear me all right? All right, good. So I am Blake Carver, one of the 3 partners of Misadventure and Company. We are the first people in the world to make vodka out of surplus baked goods. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about food waste, a little bit about our company, our ideology, and a little bit about what we do with cupcakes. All right. Oh, here we go. You probably weren't expecting this, but this is a painting from René Magritte. I show this to you because it's a big part of our ideology. It's a picture of a pipe with the caption underneath it, "This is not a pipe," in French. For us, this is a constant reminder to challenge definitions and challenge the idea of functional fixedness, that a certain object has to have a specific use. The most pertinent example of this here being we take what society deems waste and turn it into a fantastic vodka that you guys will taste later tonight. 40%. So these are crazy. This is why we make vodka out of bread. 40% of the food grown in this country gets thrown into landfills. Now, this is a travesty in and of itself with all the hungry mouths to feed out there, but compounding this is the reality that as food goes into landfills, it creates greenhouse gases, predominantly methane, which is 25 times more potent than CO2. What's crazy is that if food waste was a country, it would be 3rd in the world in emissions, just behind the US and China. And as you'll see, there's some other stats there. I don't want to bore you to death with a bunch of stats, but this accounts for 21% of our annual freshwater supply. In total, annually, we throw away 1.3% of our GDP. So let's look a little bit at what we do. What we do is put a caboose on the end of the food system. Grocery stores have to make room for fresh baked bread, so they turn over their bakery aisles every 1 or 2 days. That they donate to the food banks, but the food banks are overwhelmed. There is a tremendous surplus. And in addition to this, there's also a nutrition mandate. They can't give out sheet cakes, ho-hos, bialys, cupcakes, all of our delicious grains that we make vodka out of to the hungry because of their nutrition mandate. So instead of paying haulers to take this, what we do is we take their surplus at 0 cost to them and turn it into a fantastic vodka. Using a proprietary process, we break down starches into sugars, then ferment using yeast. After distilling and filtering, the result is an extremely smooth vodka with a silky mouthfeel and no burn. Yes, this will be coming. I'll be wrapping this up shortly. So we prescribe to this idea of hedonistic sustainability, which is something that we actually borrowed from one of your compatriots, Bjarke Engels. The idea that all too often sustainability has this idea of sacrifice attached to it. Either you're sacrificing on quality, you have soap nuts that don't actually clean your clothes, or you're buying aluminum-free deodorant that doesn't actually keep you fresh. What we've been able to do is create a superlative vodka that has a positive environmental impact, and because we control our variable costs, we can offer it at an affordable price. Now, when thinking of this in a macro sense, I was reminded of a story from growing up. I was going out to dinner with a friend's family, and my friend's father, his name is Chuck, or we'll call him Chuck to protect his identity. He's a hefty fella. He's a massive dude. And there were certain health complications that came along with this. He had a heart scare, and we went out to dinner, and he subsequently, the waiter comes over and he orders this massive plate of chili cheese fries with bacon and extra sour cream, all the fixings. It was impressive and disgusting at the same time. And so we're all sitting there. We know that he's had these health complications, and his wife looks at him like, Jesus, like what? Like, Chuck, raises her qualms. And Chuck looks back at her and just goes, Jesus Christ, Charlene, that's what the pills are for. Which, I bring this up because I think it's a good example of a pervasive ideology within our economic culture. It's enough to treat the symptoms of a problem without addressing the core issue. The core issue here is that as a country, our means of production are having a negative effect on our environment. Despite the noble efforts of nonprofits, the best way to attack this problem is at its core, with production. So these are two definitions of sustainability. So I ask you, what makes a sustainable business? What makes a sustainable enterprise? And now there's the obvious answer, the environmental imperative towards the bottom there. But if you look at the first one, what actually enables a business to keep going, it's profits. Without profits, a business ceases to exist. With profits, a business can continue doing whatever it does indefinitely. So looking at what we're doing, we're trying to combine both of these and also not settle for sustainability as sort of a zero-sum game that we have to keep up with growing emissions, but actually by creating a product that has a net positive impact on the environment. Because we're a for-profit business, this creates this self-sustaining and scalable engine for good. So currently, and this is 3 guys in an industrial complex in San Diego, we're saving 78,000 pounds of bread from going into landfills in our first year. This is equivalent to 140,000 pounds of CO2 in our environment. We are, oh shucks, you're making me blush. So we're actually looking at new facilities right now, which we are cough, cough, nudge, nudge, raising capital for. In a new facility, those numbers jump to 8.5 million pounds of bread and 15.25 million pounds of CO2 kept out of the atmosphere. And ladies and gentlemen, you're architects, this isn't a 5,000 to 7,000 square foot facility. Right? Yeah, we would, we're always open to pro bono architectural work. So let's talk about our future. So under this craft distiller's license, which is actually a relatively new licensure, we're allowed to have a speakeasy and a restaurant incorporated within this new facility. And as I was talking about challenging the ideas of functional fixedness, it doesn't just stop with our bread. We want that to be core to everything that we do. So we try and rethink every aspect of our business because we think sustainability isn't just about how we use our natural resources, but what are our resources. So excess water from our distilling, instead of going down the drain, that's going to feed aquaponic systems so we can grow our own produce and have that served in our own restaurant. Our spent wash, which is a byproduct of distilling, turns out is a fantastic fish food, so we can raise our own fish to serve in our restaurant again. In our speakeasy, we want to harken back to the days of the American Revolution. It's not just a place for us to serve our wares, but also to build community around people concerned with positive impact and give a venue and a stage for big thinkers. So I ask you then, if a vodka can do all of this, is it really just a vodka? Thank you, guys.
Washed his hands and sealed his face.